You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 65 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning and welcome into a hump day rainy edition of Inside the Locker Room. Be careful out there this morning. Roads are a little bit slick this morning, so be careful as you get the kids to school or you take off to work this morning. 205-342-9904 is the phone number if you want to get in on the show. The X account's at Locker Room 109, at Barry Sanderson, at Wimp Sanderson 1. Our email, if you want to email us during the show, really anytime, is Wimp and Barry at yahoo.com. I want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. They make this 7 o'clock hour possible. They do it for us each and every day. You're going to build the fence, the deck, the pergola. Then there's only one choice. That would be Yellowwood. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer that is closest to you. Good morning, Chase. How are you this morning? Everything good? All right, Chase is ready to roll. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning?
I'm doing okay. All right. Games last night in basketball. Kentucky Duke, I guess, was the headliner, and Kentucky got by. It was a seesaw game back and forth. Kentucky was down 4 or 5 points most out throughout the game, and came back and won that game. Kansas, Michigan State didn't shoot it very well. Kansas won that one, and Ole Miss played South Alabama, and Ole Miss won that tonight. Tennessee, Auburn, and Arkansas will all play non-conference teams. The pickings went out, or the voting went out yesterday for the college football teams for 12, and I guess maybe they should have, but to my surprise, Georgia was not in the 12, so SMU wasn't either.
Well, Georgia is 12, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, I made a mistake. Georgia is 12.
But that would be, if you are 12, though, I think you're still on the outside looking in, because Boise or whoever's the non-Power 5 team is going to probably take that 12th spot. So you need to be higher than 12, more than likely.
Well, I say that in order to say that, and I had thought Georgia was not in the 12, but it even puts more emphasis, I think, on the Georgia-Tennessee game this week. Very, very big game, because head up gives you some really good idea of what's coming off. So we'll see what happens there. Oregon, Ohio State. I think the best I can remember, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State were the top 4. And so we'll welcome your calls if you have any, and we'll try to answer what little we can.
Yeah, Oregon's one. Obviously, like you said, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State. So right there's 3 Big Ten teams, and then the 5th team is a Big Ten. And I'm happy the committee, some people are complaining about Indiana's schedule, but they have beat everybody. They played soundly, so they're at 5. BYU 6. Tennessee is 7. Notre Dame, that one's difficult for me. I heard the show before talking about that. I mean, they're not in a conference. They haven't played a hard schedule at all. They lost to, Northern Illinois. So I don't know what they've done to deserve. First of all, they can't get in the top 4 because they can't win their conference because they're not in one. But it seems like they're being helped by not being in their name brand is helping them there. Miami fell 5 spots to 9, then Alabama checks in at 10. Here's the question, Dad and Chase. if Georgia beats Tennessee this weekend, Georgia's 12, Tennessee 7, Bama's sitting there at 10. Tennessee then would be 8-2. Alabama, assuming they beat Mercer, would be 8-2. Who will the committee rank next week, Tennessee or Georgia, the highest? Will Tennessee fall below Alabama, or would Alabama be ahead of Tennessee now with them losing when you know the head-to-head Tennessee's got that? So would Tennessee fall below Alabama or Alabama? That's what I want to see. I'm curious about that next week. And I think the committee has got a tough call right there. Who will be ranked ahead of each other? Will it be Tennessee ahead of Alabama or Alabama ahead of Tennessee?
Tennessee be ahead of Alabama.
Yeah. So they wouldn't fall more than 3 spots then if they lost to Georgia, I guess. And then it'd be interesting to see, would Georgia go ahead of Alabama? Because Georgia's would have to get ahead of Tennessee because they beat them head to head. So I think there is a little bit of a issue there where there's going to be a scenario where the committee is going to make a fan base mad. I guess you don't worry about a fan base, but between Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama, you would say Alabama needs to be ahead of Tennessee, but then you say Georgia needs to be ahead of Georgia needs to be ahead of Tennessee. I'm confused myself now, but y'all see what I'm saying here. And so there's no way somebody's going to have to be ahead of one or the other and when they lost the head-to-head. So that could be an issue. Colorado, they're creeping around. SMU, 14. They're still 8-1. They've got a 3-point loss to BYU. And I remember when I think about SMU, that very first game against Nevada, I think you had blue played them. They were a big favorite, and they struggled. For some reason, I can't get that out of my head. That was the first game of the year. So
I like the way the kids play myself.
What do you not like about it? You've been saying this for weeks. What do you not like about SMU?
He lets them fight. He doesn't stop them. He doesn't stop them fighting. He doesn't stop them arguing with each other on the sidelines. I don't like it.
When you're saying fight the other team or fighting?
Yeah, slug, a fight. They got in 2 or 3 several fights. I don't care for them. So that's just me.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I hadn't really watched them other than that Nevada game, and that was early on. South Carolina did get rewarded for playing well. They did get in the poll. They weren't in. They're up at 21. I don't think they can probably climb to the top 12 and let's have it. Clemson sitting there at 20. So these, do you agree with what I said yesterday, that if you're Alabama, played in the SEC championship is something that you should want to do? I know people are saying, well, if you're in the playoff.
Well, as I listen to some of these other shows, they're saying if you go in there and get conquered, you get knocked out. If somebody were to go in and get stomped, they might be out after being in.
Yeah, I think that is a concern. It could, but I think Alabama's schedule right now with the 4 top 25 wins would carry that for. Now, if you're I don't know, you have to look at the teams that don't have good.
Texas comes in here and has a hot day and beats Alabama 3 touchdowns or something. Does that affect them?
It could. It could, but then you're going to take the other SEC teams ahead that they beat, and then with them playing their strength of schedule, I think will really help them.
But Texas, Alabama wasn't a good example. I don't know what a good example is right now, but I don't know.
All right, let's get to the Yellowwood hotline. Morning, Philip.
Good morning, y'all. How you doing, coaches?
All right. How are you, sir?
All right. Hey, got a little Mercer information for you here, if you'd like it.
Yeah.
Of course, they're 9-1. Their head coach is a guy by the name of Mike Jacobs. He's a 21-year veteran, and this is his first year at Mercer. He joined the program on January the 18th of this year, just a few days after the board joined Alabama. Their one loss was to Samford. They lost 55-35 back on October the 19th. Since then, they beat Western Carolina 44-34 on the 26th of October. They beat East Tennessee State 37-31. And the other day, they beat VMI 34-0. Play action pass game. They use motion and the threat of a run game to create mismatches and open throws downfield. They have a hybrid wing T running game. They use trick plays, double passes, and unique formations. They have multiple shifts, motions, and formations while going up tempo. And they're a lot like Vandy, a lot like Army, a lot like Navy.
All right, let me ask you this, Philip. So they're 1AA, correct?
They are Division I in the, I think it's called the Southern Conference.
Yeah, so they'll have their own separate playoff, correct? Well, they will,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, so here's the thing if you're Mercer's coach.
Mm-hmm.
You're 9-1, 5-0 at home, 4-1, so you're more than likely, I don't know their playoff format, how you get in it, but they're probably going to be in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you come in here knowing you're probably not beating Alabama and getting your team injured, trying to slug it out with the big old Alabama and jeopardize your opportunity in your 1AA playoff? What is your mindset coming in? You going to come in, you know what, we're going to go in there and shock the world, which you're not. Or are you going to go in there and say, we're going to give those starters, we're not going to tell them, but after that first quarter, if this thing gets out of hand, we're going to empty the bench because we got bigger fish to fry than Alabama. We're trying to win a championship here. What would be your mindset if you were the coach of Mercer?
I think his mindset is probably is to execute the offense as best he can to get ready for their run into their playoffs. So I think you're right. And but he's going to try to control the ball. He's going to try to eat the clock. I think they've been in this position before with some good teams like bigger name teams where they've had really good records, and people say you better watch out for them and all this, and the bigger name team ends up winning conventionally. But sometimes you have these teams that can scare the crap out of people.
Yeah, so their first round in playoffs is November 30th. So that's 2 weeks after Saturday. So and they got Furman next week. So I think you have to be careful if you're Mercer coming in here. It's a chance for hopefully Coach DeBoer to play a lot of people, but they need to play well. They built some momentum. Dad, give me your opinion. I think they built some momentum at LSU, and they don't want to lose that. So I think they need to play well, and they need to maybe look at some guys that they think can help them make this last run that they maybe have been afraid to put in at LSU and see how they do with live bullets flying. So I think both coaching staffs got something they can get out of this. Dad, your thoughts about Mercer?
I wouldn't express that to my team.
If you were Mercer's coach? Yeah.
I would not. I would do what I felt I could do around the edges, but I would not express that to my team.
What, do you think I'm right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you'll go in there and try to go toe-to-toe with them.
I don't know if there's a right or wrong.
Yeah.
I just think that I'm not sure if there's a right or wrong, but I just wouldn't want my kids to think that, we ain't done anything. That he feels like we can't go in and beat Alabama. We think we can. Well, we know they can't. But I wouldn't do it that way.
Well, I'm not saying I would tell my team that, but that's how I would. They would know it when I started subbing. And so then they probably would say, "What is he doing?" And that, you run the risk of them saying, Coach, you gave up before. You didn't give us a chance. And then I think at that point you explain to them, say, "Look, you guys, we're going to play for something big here in a couple of weeks, so we want to make sure everybody's healthy and ready to go." I'm with you. I wouldn't tell them prior to it, but I think you would probably have to explain. If he does that, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't do that. I don't know. Any other thoughts on that, Philip?
I think both of you are right. I mean, I think you, as a coach, you have to definitely not downplay this game with your team and go in there with a relaxed attitude. You go in there fired up, just like you were talking about earlier in the week. It's the notion that Alabama doesn't want to play in the SEC championship game is absolutely ridiculous. Of course you do.
Yeah. All right, I want you to answer me this, Philip. Georgia beats Tennessee. The College Football Committee next Tuesday rank the three. Who's going to be ranked the highest? Rank them in order: Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia.
Georgia beats Tennessee?
Yes. So who will be ranked ahead of each other? So in ranking order, rank those three teams that the committee will do.
Talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Phil.
Well,
it's hard.
It is hard. It is hard because Alabama was ranked, last week, 12?
Alabama, yeah. And so Georgia's 12, Tennessee 7, Alabama's 10. So Georgia beats them. They got the win over Tennessee, but Alabama's got the win over Georgia. And so how do you rank them if you're the committee when you have the head-to-head there? There's no way to rank them to where one team's not going to be mad.
You might have to, believe it or not, Barry, and I'm a little different guy. You go Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee.
Probably do. You probably have to look at, I don't know, mate. Yeah, you probably have to, you probably do. And Tennessee is not going to be happy about that. But I think you have to look at the overall strength of schedule in that situation, and I would say Alabama. I hadn't studied it, but I would say they probably have it. But somebody's going to be mad when that happens. If it's Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee's going to be saying, "Wait a minute, we beat Alabama." But so there's no way the committee can please everybody in that situation.
Right. So, and I'll be honest with you, I thought Alabama would be a little bit higher last night, but they didn't scoot up that much considering what they did last week.
One spot is all. Sounds good. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, Philip, giving you the scouting report on Mercer. I appreciate him doing that because I didn't have it. I didn't know they were 9-1. 2 minute truck there at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth move. Where it's local, out of town, out of state, no problem. Give them a call today. They'll take great care of you and your stuff. 205-247-5050. 2 minute truck movers who care.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. Gary Cowan has been officially sworn in a private ceremony as the new mayor in the city of Jasper. The former council president pro tem succeeds David O'Meary, who passed away last month. Josh Gates has been appointed to fill Cowan's unexpired District 3 council seat term. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage all throughout the day. It's absolutely free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, Hump Day Wednesday, not bad at all, at least not right now. Taking a look at Culver Road. Now, I do see where you're slowing down just a notch at 52nd Street and then again at Unity Road. And checking out 2059, that's looking real smooth. And that in between University.
If it makes sense for your business.
Go to townsquarelocal.com for a free demo of the Townsquare Business Management Platform. Visit townsquarelocal.com. That's townsquarelocal.com.
Where the season never ends. This is your home of Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Inside the locker room, pressure treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. All right, to the Yellowwood Hotline, bring Tony in. Good morning, Tony.
Hey, Tony.
Morning, gentlemen. A key team that could be a bowling ball to these pins that we're talking about is Texas A&M. What happens if they upset Texas at the end of the year? They're sitting there with 2 losses, 1 SEC loss. So where do you put Texas? Where do you put them? And let's say they hold serve. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, at that point I don't know who would play A&M in the championship game, because you got Texas, Georgia, Alabama if they hold serve. If Georgia, upsets Tennessee would be sitting there with 2. All these teams with 2 losses, I don't know who their opponent would be. And then the loser of that said game, where do you put them? And also a question I have for you, Barry, y'all might know this, I don't. Is the conference title game winner automatically in?
Yeah, they're in the top 4.
Like in basketball?
Yeah, they're in the top 4.
So let's say that a 2-loss Miami team or maybe a 2-loss Clemson team wins the ACC. They're automatically in. What if they have a 3rd loss and get in the championship game?
They're automatically in with a bye. If you win,
I don't like that.
If you win your championship, the 4 conference champions get the top 4 seeds. So you get a bye in the first round. That's what we're saying. Yeah. So you got
I don't like that.
You got all these Big Ten teams ranked, but only one of them is going to be in the top 4. So yeah, Clemson's to sit there and fiddle around and get that championship game, and they could be around 14 or something. They could win it, and they would go all the way to 4. They would get in by doing that. So people, I haven't studied it. People have telling me if everything kind of holds serve, meaning Georgia beats Tennessee and Texas A&M beat Texas, that Alabama would win the tiebreakers there and get in. I think at that point there will be mad people, but I think you have the only way to do it then is to go to strength of schedule, right?
I agree.
Well,
yep. And when you lost.
Yeah, when you lost, and then who'd you beat?
Yep.
That's what they're going to have to look at. So these teams that didn't play anybody, that's why like a Notre Dame,
Indiana,
they played nobody, but Indiana. They've won.
Indiana will play Ohio State, so
But they're 5 now. They're not going to go from 5 to out of the playoff.
So if they were to lose, now see, I don't know how the Big Ten set up either. Do they have divisions or no?
No.
Okay, so if Indiana only loses that one game to Ohio State, does that mean they're going to get in the championship game to possibly play them again?
I'm looking to make sure I'm not telling you wrong. I don't know.
I think they did away with divisions.
Yeah, they did. Let's see who's. But you got Oregon and Ohio State there. So if they lost to Ohio State,
Ohio State again.
Yeah, I would assume Ohio State. So
that's because the Ohio State's only lost at that point would be to Oregon. So yeah.
So you got right now. Oh, it's basketball. I'm a knucklehead. But do you agree if Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee are all tied, the committees, you think they'll rank Alabama ahead of those two?
Yeah, I think actually if that happened and everything plays out the way we hope it does, I think it'll be Alabama 7, Georgia 8, Tennessee 9.
Yeah. So
I mean, it'll be right there.
Big Ten.
And Tennessee can get mad all they want. They ain't nobody. Who cares?
Yeah. Big Ten right now. Indiana 7-0, Oregon 7-0, Ohio State 5-1, Penn State 5-1. Everybody else is out.
That's another one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're looking right now, Barry, at the Big Ten getting 5 in, correct? If it were whole serve the way we think it might.
Well, I mean, but I just can't see 5. Do you?
Barry, I don't know. If you got Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana, and what's the other one? There's another one in there.
Oregon. You got Oregon.
Oregon. That's it. Yeah, that's 4. I don't. Maybe it's not 5. And then you got 4 or 5 from the SEC. That's not 5. You got 3 left.
Well, and you got the winner from the ACC.
Right, ACC.
And you got the non-Power 5 team in. So.
Yeah. Somebody's going to be sitting home with 2 losses in the conference, or 2 losses overall. And, yeah, it's going – a lot of people's going to be upset, but it's what everybody wanted. It's chaos, but hopefully – and I guess the committee thing, it's a good question you asked, Barry. I asked y'all about 3 weeks ago. I don't know what criteria they're looking at. Are they looking at when you lost, strength of schedule? Are they looking at injuries? Does that have anything to do with it? And so, it's going to be interesting to see. But as far as Alabama goes, they just need to keep winning, and I think we'll be in as long as we keep winning. And I don't know what my thoughts are on the championship game. because if you don't go to a championship game, you still get a bye week, right? You get that week off. So, I don't know, because I do believe it'd be hard for me to have someone like a Tennessee, if they were to sit out, they beat Alabama head-to-head, and all of a sudden Alabama rolls up in there and they get beat by, let's say, 10 or 11 by Texas, even 14. How do you not put Tennessee in ahead?
Yeah, I don't.
With 3 losses.
Yeah, I just don't know if you can punish the team for that loss. I think we'd have to look at prior to that the schedule and who beat who and who had the best wins. Maybe they will. That's going to be something they're going to have to decide. Are they going to punish them? Now, if you're a team that doesn't have a good non-conference schedule, and then you didn't, you need it, and you didn't play a tough conference. I mean, can Texas? Their schedule's so easy.
Awful.
Can they survive a loss to Texas?
That's a great question. That is a great question, because Barry, that would mean.
But they're ranked 3. They're not going to fall that far.
No, they're not. But that would also mean that every team that they've played, that I think in the top, I guess 15 at that point, would have beaten them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That wouldn't look good, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on as far as how. I think you'll learn a lot in the next couple of weeks on how they're positioning these teams. Also, on another subject, Barry, what do y'all see? How y'all see Alabama playing against Purdue this coming Friday? They're shooting, getting a little concerning. I know it's only the 3rd regular season game, but do y'all see any concerns there?
Dad, Alabama's shooting, and how about the Purdue?
Alabama hasn't played real well. Purdue's not as good as they were. They're not. This is not the Purdue team of last year.
Were y'all surprised about the Kentucky win last night?
No, it was anybody's win. It's just whoever was ahead when the horn blew.
Well, I didn't see the game because I had a game, but I am surprised because I don't think Kentucky retained one player off that roster when he got that job.
They're shooting the ball well.
And he went out and put a whole new roster together.
They're going to shoot the threes a lot.
And he can beat Duke.
Alabama does, but they're going to shoot a lot.
But for Mark Pope to go out and get an entire new team, because John Calipari took everything but the kitchen sink out of there. That's pretty impressive that Mark Pope was able to do that, I think.
Hey, Coach Sanderson, was Pope on the early 90s Kentucky team?
Yeah, he won the national championship. Don't you remember they came in on the bus? When he was introducing them, they came in on the bus, and the championship team got off, and he got off holding the trophy. That place went bananas.
That's okay. That's him. I got you. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I do remember him now.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. I don't know about this. I do think this committee is going to have when you get to 12, and I think that was one of the reasons why you didn't like these super conferences, because now you have so many. There's not a lot of conferences out there, so all the teams are going to come from 2 or 3 conferences just about. So that makes the committee's job difficult now because everybody doesn't play everybody. So the schedules aren't balanced, correct? That's where it's going to burn them in the end when they try to pick these final 12.
Yeah, it could be. I think it's what they need to do is have more teams in the playoff. Go to 14.
If you go to 14, you might as well go to 16.
I knew he was going to say that.
And
it hurts radio talk too.
Yeah, but it should be interesting. I think my fear is college basketball is going to suffer because that's all you talk about is the college football playoff. Like high school basketball is going on now. You can hardly even find a score right now because they got the high school football playoffs and just did the second round. Starting this Friday. So, anyway. All right, we'll take the break here. We'll get back up at the phone lines, 205-342-9904. It is the Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, Hump Day Wednesday, not bad at all. At least least not right now. Taking a look at Culver Road. Now, I do see where you're slowing down just a notch at 52nd Street and then again at Unity Road. And checking out 2059, that's looking real smooth. And that in between University at
RexMD.com. We've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A cloudy sky today, a good chance of rain this afternoon, the high 66. For tonight, occasional rain with the low at 57. Tomorrow, cloudy, any lingering showers ending during the morning hours, the high tomorrow at 68. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 64 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
Welcome back to Inside Locker Room. Pressure treated pine from Great Southern Wood. Always remember, guys, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. All right, I think we think Alabama can handle Mercer. But then sitting there, Dad, is Oklahoma. And their athletic director just came out and gave Venables, I think he's getting a lot of heat, gave him a vote, that old vote of confidence. Alabama's going up there. It's a night game up at Oklahoma. I'm sure they'll be excited. It's maybe they're playing for nothing right now, but they will be energized. Could that game be any problem for Alabama? You start talking about these playoffs and all that playoff. Well, now we're into playoffs. We're gonna make the play, and I know they're not talking about that in the building over there, and go up there and play your A game against Oklahoma, and everything can go away immediately. Just what's your mindset going to Oklahoma after this Mercer game to make sure you got to take care of business? Could that game be a hiccup for Alabama going up there at night?
Sure could. My mindset would be to have my captains coach my team for a couple of days mentally. To have them have small meetings with each other. All we've done, are we going to give it away? Are we going to throw it away? Is that what our mindset is? We got to play. Oklahoma thinks they're going to beat you, so I think it could be a problem. I don't know that it's going to be a problem. I think it could be a problem if you don't play. They're looking for anything they can do. They're not bad defensively. Quarterback has been up and down, changed quarterbacks 2 or 3 times, had some hurt. Oklahoma can't wait to get you in there to play you and knock you out of whatever they knock you out of. I think it's a dangerous game if you're not ready to play mentally.
Without telling your team, would you prepare a little bit for Oklahoma this week? And I mean, I know Mercer's there, but if you looked at Mercer and said,
I sure would.
We're going to beat Mercer. We're going to have a segment over here. And I wouldn't maybe tell my players this is Oklahoma, but it would be Oklahoma. And I would be getting ready for Oklahoma. If you don't beat Mercer, I mean, you're going to beat Mercer. You don't want to sometimes you don't want to send the wrong message, but at some point you just got to be realistic with your guys. Say, guys, look, we need to line up and whip Mercer, all right? But we also got to be ready when we go to Norman. They do a couple of different things. We're going to do a little bit. Do you tell them or do you just do it? Not tell them what you're doing there.
I think you just do it. You have your scout teams put in stuff that Oklahoma runs, and without talking about it. And I think you work a little bit on Mercer, a little bit. Maybe one day, and then the rest of the time you work the rest of the time on Oklahoma. I think you can't completely 100% overlook Mercer. You can't do that. You've got to have the Bears names up there on the board and all that kind of stuff. You got to talk about them. You got to use their name in your talking. in your talking points, but you know, you also have got to slide a little bit of Oklahoma stuff in there.
Yeah, I think you got to do that. You got to be ready. All right, let's get to the Yellowwood hotline. Talk to Jason. What's up, Jason?
Jason.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, man.
I'm on a delay listening to the app today, so y'all might have already covered this. First of all, congratulations on the nice win against Hewitt Trustful last night.
Yeah, it was good.
Good deal.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, and look, just piggytail on what y'all are talking about. It probably won't be Oklahoma though. If their backs are against the wall, that could be a physical game, and it could go either way. But I don't anticipate that. And then look, when Georgia beats Tennessee, I feel like the employees will be ranked like this: Bama, Georgia, and Tennessee. That's just me.
Yeah, I think that's what we kind of can. And if you're a Tennessee fan, are you going to be squalling?
They're going to debate. They're going to say, well, we beat them head. I just think Bama will be ranked there because of the other people they've beaten. That's just me.
But what are the Tennessee people going to say, Dad?
They're going to say they're going to squall because they're going to say we beat them head up. But I think the committee will look at the win at LSU, the win against Georgia, the win against at that time Missouri, and there's another one I forgot. But they're going to look at that, and then they're going to say Georgia beat Tennessee head up, and then I think that's how it's going to be. If there's a lot of football still left to be played, but if that played out.
Yeah, you got Ole Miss in the picture, obviously. I'm not high on Georgia. I just don't think Georgia's looked that good.
No, they lost. Those two good players they lost were really good players, and they've had some controversy as far as, you know, I noticed where Kirby's apologized for saying the guy was stupid, or whatever he called him.
Yeah.
He was stupid. Why do you have to apologize when you're right? He was acting stupid.
Yeah. Hey, look, Wimp, I got a question.
All right.
I know it was a couple of days ago. Have you ever, Barry, I know you haven't, but what would either one of y'all have done if you're in the middle of the air on an airplane and two of your players start fighting?
I'd tell the pilots to open the door and let them jump out.
I mean,
they would say, do you want me to give them a parachute? No, just push. Open the door and push.
Geez. Anyway,
we're not talking about like a verbal fight. I mean, they were ripping shirts and blood, and they were saying we need to have a nurse there. Do you kick those guys?
That was I thought I've heard everything. That was crazy. But anyway, look, before I let y'all go, Wimp.
Yeah.
Does Barry like he hates to lose? But listen to this. So we got a little bet going on. And he texts me throughout the year talking all this smack about we have a bet about Ole Miss losing more than 3 games or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he has talked so much smack.
You gave up after that Kentucky loss. You look like a little whipped puppy.
He even texted me asking did I want to settle up before the Georgia game. He was already counting it, but anyway.
Yeah, you should have done that. That was a great deal for you, but you didn't do it.
Anyway, look, I'll let y'all go, but they could pull an Ole Miss this weekend and drop one to Florida. That's why I'm not saying.
Well, they ain't going to do that this weekend because it's next weekend, but I'm hoping you're right.
I'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Jason. Put your feet up, Jason. When it rains and you're in the lawn business, do you just put your feet up for the day? What do? You just put them up? You don't do nothing. It's raining.
Yeah. And you rust out your lawnmower.
Do you clean your equipment? What do you do when your workers ain't coming? He got people working for him. He's the head honcho. But what does he do? Does he put his feet up? I mean, he's selling a bunch of stuff over there too. So
he's probably
probably
doing all kinds of stuff. All right, we'll take the break here. Open the phone lines 205-342-9904, 1230 a.m. WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. It is a jam-packed edition of the Gary Harris Show, the NASCAR report with Matt Coulter. As I do another victory lap, I picked Joey Logano to win it, and he won it. He is the series champion, and we'll talk about that. Also, we're going to have Kayla Anderson on with the Tennessee Titans report because she couldn't make it on Tuesday. And Larry the Music Man joins us as well, plus your phone calls. That's a jam-packed Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Gary Harris Show.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We're in prime time commute, and traffic now starting to get out a little thicker. We got 43 on the heavier side on the southbound lanes to McFarland. This is going to slow things down to Flatwoods Road. McFarland to eastbound mainly, and that's on, of course, right at
today's repair and the future repairs. No overtime charges on weekends and holidays. No hassle guarantee. Adams Heating and Cooling, 205-872-0045.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A cloudy sky today, a good chance of rain this afternoon, the high 66. For tonight, occasional rain with the low at 57. Tomorrow, cloudy, any lingering showers ending during the morning hours, the high tomorrow at 68. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 64 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Your home for Alabama Crimson Tide football. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Back to the inside like a pressure treated pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want to get to the Yellowwood hotline and get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Barry. Tom, Coach. How are y'all?
Good.
Bear.
Good. You know, Barry, you don't have to be sad because Tennessee fans are going to be a bit. Oh, by the way, you won last night?
Yeah, I did.
Congratulations. You don't have to be sad about Tennessee fans being sad. You know, that's what we live for around here. We love it when bad things happen to Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're going to be sad. I didn't say I didn't.
I know, you up there. Are they going to be upset like you wanted to give them some kind of counseling or something? Get off that.
I'm just saying, do you think they're going to be upset?
Be glad. Have you not learned anything in 7 years?
I didn't say I wasn't glad. Do you think they're going to be upset?
I hope they are.
Well, they be.
And on Mercer's coach, I would call Coach DeBoer and say, hey, look, come on. First quarter, maybe quarter and a half. I'm going to run my offense a little bit. We're not coming down there to be a damn hero. We're going to run our offense a little bit, and this is how we're going to do it. If I was you, I'd tell the referees, run the clock. Let's get this thing over with. We're looking at the playoffs.
You don't need any injuries. I don't need any injuries. That's what you'll say. You don't need any injuries, and I don't need any injuries. Is there anything special you want to look at that you need me to do?
Right. Is it something I can do to help you?
Could you put an extra $200,000 in that check that we're going to get? Could you slide an extra $200,000?
No, we ain't going there now. No, we got to pay Jalen his money. Don't you start.
Yeah.
But that's what I'd do if I was a coach.
Yeah. Dad, you think that might happen behind the scenes? Hey, now you do that when you scrimmage in basketball. You say, hey, we're going to play a little zone here. Hey, we need to see some press. All right, we'll press. But when it's a live game.
Like Coach Oates did, Coach Penny and Coach Oates did the other night. They go, look, let's don't foul out. I got some stuff I want to do, and you do too. And they said, okay. There they go.
Yeah. So, anyway.
That's the way it works. All right, thank
you. So you don't have any sympathy for the Tennessee fans?
I'm sorry?
You don't have any sympathy for Philip Fulmer and the Tennessee fans?
Oh, no, not at all. You know the thing. We don't like that orange. It's puke orange, you know, and we hate Tennessee, and they snitches. You know the routine.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So, anyway, thank you, Tom.
All right, buddy. Y'all have a good day.
All right, we'll take this break. We'll get back. We'll get Justin at Tuscaloosa Toyota. We'll find out what's going on out on Skyland Boulevard. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
We give that to them each and every time they come and visit us. The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Isaac Lowenkron.
In the NBA Tuesday night, Klay Thompson's return to Golden State lived up to the hype as the Warriors prevailed over his Dallas Mavericks 120-117 thanks to the exploits of Steph Curry, who closed the game outscoring the Mavericks 12-3 by himself over the final 3 minutes and 10 seconds to finish with 37 points. Thompson had 22 with 6 three-pointers. Also Tuesday night, the Detroit Pistons beat Miami in overtime 123-121 with 1 second left in OT on the score tied. Miami coach Eric Spoelstra called a timeout with his team out of timeouts, resulting in a technical foul that led to the game-winning free throw by the Pistons' Malik Beasley. New college football playoff rankings released on Tuesday night had Oregon still at number 1, followed by Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, and Indiana.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Andrew Kniffer, he's my Allstate insurance agent. Let him become yours out at 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. Give he and the staff a call. Tell them exactly what you need. Home, life, auto, renter's insurance, whatever you need there, these guys will take absolutely great care of you. 205-722-9201 or go to Andrew Kniffer Facebook page right there. They can set you right up. All right, we're going to talk a little Tuscaloosa Toyota. So I'm going to pull out of the studio, take a left on Skyland Boulevard and go down to Tuscaloosa Toyota and get Justin in. Hey, Justin, how are you, my man?
Man, doing great. How about y'all guys?
We're fine. Okay. Fine. Tell us what's going on over at Tuscaloosa Toyota with holidays coming up, Justin.
Yeah, so it's perfect timing for us, the way Toyota's been releasing vehicles and stuff. So just a ton of inventory on our lot right now with many things to choose from. You know, we talk a lot about different models and stuff, but the RAV4, we got so many RAV4s right now in stock, probably the most RAV4s we've had in quite some time with special financing, and that is the number one selling vehicle in the United States. So if you were looking for a vehicle that meets a lot of different needs, that's the one you ought to come look at with special deals, special financing right now. along with a lot of other stuff. Anytime, Barry, I say this, when our inventory is like it is and people are buying new cars like they are, we're off to one of the best starts to November that we've had. And so a lot of really, really nice trade-ins. So when you have a lot of new car inventory, you get a lot of nice trade-ins. And right now we've got a ton of inventory to see, and you can look at all of it at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
Yeah. Just talk about the process they are coming in. If you guys have a lot there on the lot, but they don't. We mentioned this last week. Somebody's trying to maybe get a family member something for Christmas. You may have it right there on the lot, or it gives you a little time to go find exactly what they need. Sometimes the guy just wants a truck. It doesn't matter whatever you have on the lot, but sometimes they want something special there. Maybe walk them through those two scenarios.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you have a lot of inventory, it makes it easy to be able to swap, get what you want. Like, for instance, if we were trying to swap to get somebody a Tundra, but we didn't have any Tundras, I don't think anybody's going to swap us a Tundra like you want if we didn't have any. But we got just our inventory is ridiculous. I think David was talking yesterday. We've got 100 and something cars on their way. That's on top of what we already have that'll be coming in over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So we have plenty of inventory right now. Toyota's jumped out at this time of the year like they always do. We already have special financing on the 25 Tundras and discounts and holiday cash and all of that stuff's already running before the month of December. Toyota's really pushing a lot of units, and that's not on the Tundra 24 model like it's a leftover. That's the all new 25 that just arrived. So all of this stuff got the incentives carried over if it's a 25, just like the Toyota Camry and just so many different other things. So, all of that can be found, all those incentives and everything in our special financing where we make it easy. And you can start that process. All you got to do is jump online where that website is just easy to navigate, at TuscaloosaToyota.com.
Yeah. Talk about your rental program there. Sometimes people going out of town, I think you got to go to a rental car company, then they may be wanting to buy a Toyota. It's kind of like a try it before you buy it, maybe for the weekend. How does your rental program work over there, Justin?
Yeah, a lot of people do that. You can do all that right there at TuscaloosaToyota.com. And you can search out rentals and get that done online, make it real easy. So a lot of rental cars to choose from, but you need to act fast because with it being, obviously the holiday season, people are going to be trying to go different places throughout the next couple months and stuff. So if you're looking for a rental, something that's really nice, something that's not been destroyed or how it is when you go to a bunch of these rental car companies, you get just a bad vehicle with a bad ride. If you want something really nice, that's competitive and you can do it real easy, just jump on the website right there and we'll get you in a rental at, like I said, TuscaloosaToyota.com where it's made easy.
Yeah, Dad, how's that vehicle yours? Everything's still going good
Yeah,
with it?
it's fine. It's doing good. Yeah, so I guess hadn't had a chance to have it serviced, but yeah, it's good.
All right, Justin, who the Gordo Green Wave got this week?
Look, hey, Gordo travels 2-5. So you already know.
Are you going?
I think actually, I always said that if Gordo ever went to Fife, that I'd like to go up there. They got obviously Gordo's got great tradition and stuff, and up north, Fife's got that same kind of tradition. So I always said if Gordo ever went up there, I would try to go. I think I'm going to try to go up there and see it. I'm thinking it'll be a great game. Obviously, they've won the state championship the last couple of years, and they've got a really good team coming back. But Gordo's got a shot, so we'll go see it and see how they do.
Yeah, it should be fun. Those guys have had a great season there. How about you? Were you surprised about Alabama? How well they played over in Baton Rouge on Saturday night? Best game of the year.
I was looking at some stats on the board and looking at those and just talking to people. And I told you this. Remember last Wednesday, I told you off the 2-week bye, you was like, oh, I don't know why you saying that. I just felt good about Alabama coming off that 2-week bye. I think Jalen looked more comfortable in what they were trying to do, and he looked explosive. And just looking at the way that if you go back and look at how Kalen DeBoer's teams have played late in the year into November and December, I don't know about you guys, and I don't know if it changed your feelings or whatever, but I don't know. I like the trajectory and where this team's at right now. So we'll see, they get basically an off week this week, but going into those last two games, I feel pretty good about where they are. I'm not listening this morning, but what do you guys think?
Well, we think that Oklahoma game could be tricky at night. They're going to have to be ready. Obviously, they should be able to handle Mercer. We thought maybe they should maybe try to even incorporate during practice a little bit, getting ready for Oklahoma, because that's they're going to play loose. Oklahoma is. They got nothing to lose. If Alabama coming up there for the first time since they've been in the SEC, so they're focused. The players' focus does not need to be on the playoff whatsoever. It needs to be solely on this Oklahoma game. Then they need to turn their attention to Auburn, and then let the chips fall where they may. They have no say so on whether they make the SEC tournament, championship game or not. But the tiebreakers could work in their favor. They may not, but if they win out, I think they're in the playoffs. So they just got to take care of business, Justin. So.
Yeah, I like where they are right now. You want to be in this new 12-team format. I just think it's just like Alabama's basketball team last year. It's a different format. And you got to, the early in the season does matter, but not so much. You got to be playing right at the right time, and hopefully, that's what they're doing right now.
Yeah. All right, just real quick before you go, tell everybody how to get in touch with you guys if they can't come down to the dealership, or if they want to come down to the dealership, or if anybody's listening maybe outside the area and wants to do a deal over the website with you guys, just tell them how to do everything.
Yeah, let's start that process right there. I'd love to help you. If you call in, you can ask for me, but I'd love to see you guys start right there at the website where we make it easy, and just get on to TuscaloosaToyota.com where it'll be fast and easy.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks, Justin. You guys have a great day.
Yeah, you're the man. Thank you. Let's go to TuscaloosaToyota.com. All right. We got Bill Cameron coming up. We'll find out what's going on down on the plains of Auburn. Obviously, basketball's doing well. Dad said they play tonight. Who do they play in basketball? I need to look at that. See who they play.
I forgot who they played.
I'll pull it up here. Let's see. Let's look at your SEC slate. And then, are you working on your blue plate? Have you?
Yeah, I'm having. I can't find one.
Yeah. You said that last week, and then all of a sudden you pulled one right out of the air and it hit. All right, you got Montana and Tennessee, as you said, on ESPN. Ooh, that's on ESPN. Oh, ESPN Plus. Kent State is 2-0. They go down to Auburn. Auburn 21.5-point favorite. And then Troy, the local team, are here. An in-state team travels to Arkansas to take on John Calipari's squad. Wow. That line is only 12.5. So Troy must be pretty good. The Cows at Vanderbilt. So if you want to see the new coach at Vanderbilt, that game is up in Nashville. And Vanderbilt is an 8.5-point favorite. I'm surprised. Are you surprised that Arkansas line, that only 12.5 against Troy?
Yeah, I sure am.
Yeah.
That may be a misprint.
You might do a blue plate in basketball.
Man, to win one of those.
Huh? You don't want to do a blue plate basketball?
Oh, Lord, no. Basketball, you can't.
Let's see what Troy's done this year. Toledo, they beat Toledo. It was a good win, 84-74.
They played Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State beat them 4.
They played New Orleans, and they beat New Orleans 78-61 there. So that's interesting that line's only 12.5. All right, we'll take this break, get to Bill Cameron. That's the Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, you got the slow rolls for your rush to work this morning. And taking a look at the usual spots, that would be McFarland Boulevard in both the east and westbound lanes between Watermelon and 43. You'll tap on those brakes pretty frequently. And you've also got a pretty heavy load on 43 on that southbound hookup to McFarland. And
visit us now to save big and discover why so many are switching to BMW. BMW of Tuscaloosa. Take your dreams for a drive.
From the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Today. It's a daily update on Bama sports, and it's brought to you by Conecuh Sausage, a true Southern flavor since 1947, and the official smoked sausage of the Crimson Tide. Order online at ConnecusaSausage.com. Hello again, everybody. I'm Roger Hoover. On yesterday's edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, we were joined by Alabama freshman defensive back Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. How have you seen this group take steps forward together week by week throughout the season?
We just use our motto 1-0, and we just apply it to our day every day and just move forward with all the doubts. We don't even worry about all that. We just 1-0, you know.
Just going 1-0, that's really important. Now we've seen this group bounce back after some adversity. Who really held the locker room together after some of those tough moments in October?
Everybody. It took every player. It wasn't a one-man thing. It was just everybody coming together and just making it happen.
You're pretty excited for what this team's capable of the rest of the way?
Yes, sir. I'm pretty excited to see how far it can go. It got a lot of potential.
I'll have more in a moment.
Favorite jeans, favorite shirt. Got Conecuh sausage and I'm firing it up. Yeah, everybody knows it's how I get my grill on. You can smell that flavor up and down the road. It's a little taste of heaven, and everybody knows. It's how I get my grill on. Conecuh sausage. It's just a little taste of heaven.
Join us tonight for Crimson Tide women's basketball against Norfolk State. Tip-off from Coleman Coliseum is set for 6 p.m. with our radio coverage starting at 5:45 all across the network. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Conecuh Sausage. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Inside the Locker. All right, we'll get right up to the Yellowwood Hotline. He's the ESPN 106.7 The Drive down in Auburn, Opelika. Joins us every Wednesday. Talk Auburn Tigers. Bill Cameron. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Hey, Bill. I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
Good. We had John Cohen on yesterday. I think it was yesterday, and talked to him a lot about what's going on in Auburn. He, of course, now he hired Hugh Freeze, and he was quick to point out that Kalen DeBoer, he feels like inherited a lot different program than Hugh Freeze did down there. I don't think anybody's going to argue that, but Alabama's had a lot of transfers as well. But obviously when you hire a guy, you're going to back him. That's what he should do there. But he's talked about all the transfers and that they felt like they have it going in the right direction. Are you kind of hearing the same thing down there when they're talking about year two with Hugh Freeze?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are, completely, throwing in the towel and giving up on things. It's just this year, it seems like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, and Auburn's a 3-6 team, and there's no way around that. Hugh Freeze is 5-8 at home, 5-8 at home, and it's been a tough time for all the fans. I mean, they like seeing the young players, and they see how close this team has been. But my goodness, they need to learn how to win more of these close ball games. They're like 1-4, I guess. Yeah, 1-4 in ball games that were decided in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that.
Are they going to be able to keep the players that they have, and also the ones that they've signed? You think most of them?
That's a really good question, Wimp. I mean, Hugh Monday at his weekly teleconference said that he was asked that question, and he said, don't think that their phones aren't ringing, that the players' phones aren't ringing, and that's something that is taking so much of his time now is trying to continue to keep players focused and re-recruiting his own team. That's something you didn't have to do in the past, but everybody does, especially a team like Auburn that is struggling, and looks like they've got some prime prospects for picking for other teams.
That can't be fun. Bill, you're sitting there, you're 1-5 in the SEC, and you're having to basically, I mean, these guys are going to sit down with Own to Victory. I guess that's the name of the NIL group there, and basically sit back and say, well, what are you going to do for me? and you're sitting there, and the people that are giving the money saying, guys, y'all are 1-5. I think y'all need to be more worried about what's going on the field instead of getting paid off the field. But you can't lose those guys because did you go further back if you can add to them. But I wouldn't want to be a coach right now, having to deal with that. That's got to put a bad taste in your mouth, having to it is what it is. And John Cohen said we have to look at college athletics through a different lens now. It's just not like it used to be. You have to adapt. And so he even went as far as to talk about with Bruce Pearl. He said if Alabama is giving one more dollar to their people than Bruce Pearl, he's not going to be happy about that. And so it's kind of an arms race right now. But just your thoughts about having to almost beg these guys and pay them to come back when you're really not even having a great season this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's something everybody has to deal with, but it's got to be tougher when you're not having that. When you're not having the great year. Just look at Florida last year and what happened to them. It hasn't hit Auburn yet the way it did Florida a year ago, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen. And I think right now it's a credit to the NIL and to Hugh and the staff that there haven't been more players that have already come out and said, well, they're not going to play anymore this year and they're going to enter the transfer portal. It's going to be something to really watch, and you do wonder now that we have the new administration coming in, if that might be something that might more easily transition into some guidelines here, because again, college athletics is now the only level of sports where there's just free agency constantly, where players don't have to worry about being anywhere; they can move anytime they want. So yeah, it is a wildly volatile time in college athletics, and especially for teams that aren't doing well.
We're talking Bill Cameron, ESPN 106.7 The Drive. All right, Bill, what happened on the plane? You guys are getting inside information, I'm sure, down there. What happened where the two players were fighting so bad that they had to turn the plane around? You would think you could get back there, get that under control. The plane was going to go back to Montgomery. Then they said, no, we're going to Auburn, have a nurse there, have I don't know if they said sheriff or whatever. What can you tell us that you know that happened on that plane?
Well, I don't honestly, I don't know what's happened on the plane. We do know the two players that ended up not making the trip were Turtle Hudson, who's a senior transfer from SMU, and Ja'Kai Howard, a freshman who is he's had some discipline problems in the past. I decided I hadn't watched. There was a Netflix, no, not Netflix, Prime, did a special with Overtime Elite where Auburn has gotten a few players from that program. Ja'Kai Howard had been there the last couple of years, and he's one of the primary players in Overtime Elite. And there were a couple of circumstances where he left the team. He came back. He was suspended. He came back. There's a video that I'm sure everybody has seen of Ja'Kai while Auburn was beating Vermont. And Miles Kelly was hitting those 7 threes. You could see Ja'Kai Howard, who was in the ball game, looking more and more just down and showing some awful body language as though if he didn't get the ball. He didn't look like he was happy at all, ready to sort of just pout and walk the floor. So I don't know, but I would think that it may have well had something to do with that, his body language, his attitude, and if I would guess, and again I don't know this, but I do know that when I have flown, that you feel like if anything starts getting a little bit out of hand, that there's very likely going to be something drastically done, and that's what happened with them. I don't think it's anything you have to take lightly. I had a serious question on Monday from someone wondering if one or both of these players might be placed on a no-fly list for doing something like that.
I mean, has Bruce Pearl made an announcement about their status? I mean, are they still on the team? Has he said anything about it?
He was asked yesterday, and the only thing he would say, he was asked Monday, and he just said that he wasn't going to comment then. But yesterday we had a little time with Bruce before practice, and the only thing he would say is they both practiced on Monday. So they're still with the team, but it'll be interesting tonight when Auburn takes on Kent State to see if one or both of them are even dressed out.
Yeah.
How good is this Auburn team offensively in basketball?
If they shoot it, Wimp, they're going to be darn good because Janai Broome is more than a handful inside, and I really like what we've seen the first couple of ball games from Chaney Johnson, who has really bulked up. He is stronger, and he's always been one of the better athletes on the team. But they've shot it pretty darn well the first couple of ball games, and what's been encouraging for Auburn is different guys have shot it. First game, Denver Jones, Miles Kelly shot it extremely well. This past ball game, Denver was okay. Miles didn't shoot it so well, but then the true freshman, Tahad Pettiford, just lit it up and played like he had ice in his veins. So if they've got three guys that can shoot from outside, they're going to be pretty darn good offensively just because of their inside threat.
You know, that incident, happened. Then Auburn goes and knocks off Houston. You would think, that it would be disarray. There's no way you could go beat a Houston team, and they did. What does that say about this Auburn team, that they were able to kind of put that situation aside, go and win that? Maybe if they lost it, there'd been more attention put on what happened on the plane. But just talk about those guys going over there and knocking off Houston in the Toyota Center.
Yeah, that was a very impressive win against Kelvin Sampson's teams are going to play well. They're going to be really good defensively, and that was what was so impressive to me is the way that Auburn, down 9 in the second half, was able to pick things up and get it going. This is an experienced team. They've got, they have 10 seniors on the roster out of the 12 players, and the two guys that didn't make the trip, Turtle Hudson's probably number 10 when it comes to their substitution. Ja'Kai Howard is a ridiculously talented athlete, but he's a true freshman who wasn't really expected to play that much, but had a good fall camp. So it wasn't as though this really disrupted the rotations that Bruce has, because he's got a guy like Chris Moore who would probably drop to the number 11 spot, but Chris is a guy that started and is going to give you very good defensive minutes as well. So it's a team that I think they're very mature, and they've been through, most of these guys have been through these type situations, been through the wars and played in some tough conference games. So, it's defense is going to travel, and that's something that this team really, it depends on their defense. That's why, as when you were asking me about the offense, if their offense clicks a little bit, they're going to be very tough for anybody to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That.
Anything on the baseball that we need to talk about that you can think of?
Well, they've been going through their World Series to wrap up fall practice. Last week they had the players split. Players sort of a couple of the upperclassmen were able to pick teams, and they played last week. And then the coaches after that have picked teams. They're getting that going. As a matter of fact, starting today, I think they're going Wednesday, Friday, Sunday with the final 3 practices, and have been pretty pleased with the young hitters. Again, they're still looking to find things to solidify things on the mound, but they really like the some of the young hitters that have come through. And then I think they're expecting to sign another good class today on the first day of the signing period.
Really?
All right, back to football real fast.
Yeah.
Does Auburn...
Let's talk a little bit about the quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'll talk about the quarterback. Do they need to start preparing for the future there with the quarterback? You can keep playing a guy who's not going to be back. They take on Monroe, maybe an opportunity. Of course, you don't take anybody for granted. They're a 24-point favorite, but talk a little bit about the quarterback situation. Is it time for Auburn to maybe turn its attention maybe to some of the younger guys?
Yeah, I thought when Hugh told us Monday that Peyton hadn't practiced last week because of his shoulder, which he got jammed on just before, of course, timing is everything in it. And like I said a while ago, it seemed like if anything can go wrong, it will. Of course, Peyton injured his shoulder on the play before they called a deep pass, and he was trying to shake it off and he couldn't throw it, but he couldn't even throw the ball at all last week. So I was thinking, well, this will make the perfect opportunity for you to be able to go ahead and take the red shirt perhaps off Walker White, who's just been running scout team. Let Hank Brown have another opportunity out there. But then yesterday we get to spend some time with players, and Peyton Thorne says he's feeling fine. He's ready to go this weekend. And then there was about a 10, 15-minute viewing window for the media yesterday afternoon, and Peyton's running with a 1. So I don't know if they're going to do that or not. If they don't, if it's Peyton for the rest of the way, and again, I still think he's the best guy they have. But if they don't look at some of the younger guys, that tells me even more strongly that they're thinking next year's starting quarterback isn't on the roster.
Was the kid that they have committed, was he over at the Ole Miss Georgia game this weekend? Is there any concern there?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And Ole Miss is really working him hard now. Their freshman lefty looked pretty good when Jackson Dart left the ball game, took him right down the field for a touchdown. But they don't have a quarterback in this class, and that's going to be something that Auburn's really going to have to work hard to try to keep Deuce Knight, who's already flipped once from Notre Dame to Auburn. But, yeah, I'm sure Lane would love to add him to that class. So, yeah, he was there, and there was a video of him, walking on the field. But and then quite a few Auburn fans are going, well, if that happened, you can forget him. Well, I don't know, because I can remember Rashaan Evans on the field celebrating after the kick 6. So it was a huge victory for Ole Miss, and that's something I do think that the longer it goes without him flipping, the better it is for Auburn, because there's no reason for him to wait if he's going to flip to Ole Miss, being a native Mississippian.
Yeah, but boy, you have this money involved. You just don't ever know what can happen at the end,
Right.
So they maybe kind of hold out and see. Auburn's got 3 games left: Monroe, A&M, and then finish up here in Tuscaloosa. How are they injury-wise, Bill? And when they come up here, it seems like they've struggled here in Tuscaloosa, but maybe they'll come up and play loose as a goose and try to run Alabama's playoff hopes. So I'm sure they would love to do that. But just talk about how healthy is this team right now.
Well, they are. They're amazingly healthy for a team going into their 10th game. And as a matter of fact, a couple of the guys that have been out, Tyler Scott, the defensive back, who's been out all year, and yesterday in practice, he was in full gear and running around. So there's a guy they may be able to add and not burn a year on him, because Auburn's in the last 3 games. And Brandon Frazier, who had really stepped up and was probably the best combo tight end that Auburn had as far as being able to be on the field, whether it's run or pass, because he's a really good blocker at 6'7", 260, but he's got excellent hands. He was out at practice again yesterday, too. It looked like he was out for the year. So they're heading into the final 3 games about as healthy as I can recall a team. And again, let's see how they react after this week off and the loss to Vandy. But so far, they've really played hard. They've been close, and they've come up on the other side. I was thinking about this and looking yesterday when we were talking about the college football playoff rankings, and mentioning the 2 games from last week when after Alabama's thrashing of LSU, started looking at LSU. They're 3-2 in the conference, but they could easily be 1-4. So, I mean, it's that kind of year where there's not a whole lot of difference, I think, in quite a few teams. Auburn's got they've got the potential to be able to hang with anybody. But right now, to me, it's all, how do they react mentally after losing that Vandy game and dropping to 3-6?
Lastly, Auburn at home tonight against Kent State in hoops. What a home court advantage. Auburn 21.5-point favorite there tonight. Shouldn't have any problem with Kent State tonight, right?
No, the main thing, the main thing everybody will be looking for is, are Ja'Kai Howard and Turtle Hudson dressed out? How are they going to do that? And can Auburn, maintain somewhat of a focus, because that was a huge win over Houston the other day. I think it's interesting that Houston and Kent State are 2 of the 3 teams that Auburn and Alabama have in common on their schedules, and could add a 4th if Auburn and North Carolina somehow meet out in Maui. But it's interesting to have the same teams that you're going to be playing against. But yeah, tonight it's just how focused can they be? Like I said, it's a very senior-laden team. So you would hope that they would at least be able to get business taken care of without it being too sloppy.
Tell everybody where they can find you, Bill.
Yep, The Drive every day on ESPN 106.7. You can go online to ESPNAU.com or RadioAlabama.net. We'd love to have you listening in and join us. Appreciate you, Bill. Have a great week.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, guys. You too.
All right, Dad, let's talk about Bryant Bank, and then we'll get to break here.
Bryant Bank is certainly an outstanding bank. They have the 4 locations in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa as well, and also throughout the state of Alabama. And they're outstanding people. There'll be a company that will help you bank online, and also will do a great job for you with the community. So hopefully you'll go by there and visit with them and tell them that you want to open up a personal and also a business bank account with them, and I think you'll find that they're absolutely terrific. So go by Bryant Bank and tell them you heard on Inside the Locker Room.
All right, we'll take the break here. Open up the phone lines. We got about 20 more minutes left in the show, so we open the phone lines 205-342-9904. You want to talk playoff rankings? You want to talk Alabama hoops? You want to talk about this football team, this Mercer game? Will people go to this Mercer game, Chase? Is this a game that people are going to go to, these diehard Alabama fans, or people say, I can't ever get tickets? You can get free tickets probably for this particular game. Is this going to be a big game?
No, I don't think anybody's going to show up. I'm sorry. I thought I could say it, but no.
No, nobody's going to go. All right. We also can look around the SEC, see what's happening this weekend in college football. You listen to Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, you got the slow rolls for your rush to work this morning. And taking a look at the usual spots, that would be McFarland Boulevard in both the east and westbound lanes between Watermelon and 43. You'll tap on those brakes pretty frequently. And you've also got a pretty heavy load on 43 on that southbound hookup to McFarland. And
someone else's. Get Black Friday tool deals delivered from the Home Depot. Limit 1 per transaction. Exclusions apply. Full eligible tool list in-store and online.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
Today's repair and the future repairs. No overtime charges on weekends and holidays. No hassle guarantee. Adams Heating and Cooling, 205-872-0045.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A cloudy sky today, a good chance of rain this afternoon, the high 66. For tonight, occasional rain with the low at 57. Tomorrow, cloudy, any lingering showers ending during the morning hours, the high tomorrow at 68. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 65 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Need to know what's going on with the Crimson Tide? Then subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive content on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. We'll look down at some of the games that currently in the SEC, not currently in the SEC this weekend, and then nationally that might have some impact on the college football playoff. But Texas, which cannot afford, with them playing Texas A&M at the end of the year, that's a potential loss there, and they're going to Arkansas. I'm a little bit surprised the line's 13.5. There. That's a pretty big rivalry, Texas, Arkansas from the Southwest Conference days. So those teams cannot stand each other. I think I asked you just the other day if you gave Arkansas any chance of knocking off Texas. But that line's 13.5. the Longhorns really need to have this game. They don't want that last game to come out of Texas A&M on the road where they make this playoff or not. Just your thoughts about this game. Did we lose him, Chase? All right. There, maybe that's him calling back. All right. Well, I'll tell you. I think Texas there, Arkansas will play with nothing to lose there. So, look for Texas to be in a dogfight over there. I think Texas probably win the football game. But there is no love lost between Texas and Arkansas. Who better could tell us than that? Perfect timing than Digger. Hey, Digger, how you doing, my man? Hello.
Yes, indeed. This is a tough one for us.
They're not ranked. Tell the listener the hatred between Arkansas and Texas from the old Southwest Conference days.
Well, I know this much. You better gas up before you go in the state of Arkansas because they won't give you any getting out. So, and plus they'll charge you more. So, yeah, this is going to open up some wounds here. They're going to bring out all the old farts, and they're going to go sit in that stadium, and they're going to remember about how bad it was in the 60s and 70s. And so, can I talk something about this playoff seeding thing here?
Yeah, please.
The committee. You're going to tell me, you're going to get on TV, national TV, ESPN, and tell me that the top 4-5 teams are out of the Big Ten? Are you kidding me? Why do we have Penn State still in there? I get Indiana. They haven't played anybody, but they are undefeated like BYU. And what is up with SMU, man? No respect whatsoever. Undefeated in the ACC. Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to get their just doing
on the outside. They're close enough to get themselves in there. They got to keep taking care of business. Obviously, they could win the ACC and be a top 4 seed, Digger. So all that's still out there for SMU. It's just amazing how they treat SMU in Notre Dame. They treat Notre Dame like royalty, and Notre Dame has beaten nobody. But SMU doesn't get that treatment. That's frustrating to me, Digger, because they're looking at the name.
Keep in mind, BYU is undefeated too.
Yeah.
They beat SMU.
Yeah.
At least they've got a top 20 win.
Yeah.
And so does SMU. Penn State can't say that.
Yeah.
Indiana can't say that. So come on. But real quick, the burning question is what kind of lingerie are y'all going to wear at this pillow fight this weekend? Mercer? Well, I thought that was supposed to be in week 11. This is week 10. What are you doing playing Mercer?
They're playing these teams in week 10 this year for some reason because next week they're obviously at Oklahoma. Auburn's got Monroe. Kentucky's got Murray State. There's one other. Texas A&M's got New Mexico State. So I think that's the week 10 thing. They didn't like those teams scheduling these teams.
You know why they
11.
did that? Huh?
Why?
You know why they did that?
Why?
They thought they thought y'all wouldn't notice. They said, "Oh, wait a minute, it's week 11. Well, why don't we just move it back 1 week and maybe they won't notice?"
I think what they said was, "It's week 10. Let's play the same teams that Texas has been playing all year." So that's probably what they did. Y'all got the weakest schedule in the conference.
Yeah, wait, you're gonna whoa, slow down. I get it, and we're gonna take the only way we're gonna win at this is if we take care of business and win out. Okay, but don't give me the baloney that you have a top 20 win when you beat Missouri and they had no quarterback, no running back. Okay, come on.
Yeah,
come on.
It's still a top 20 win. It is what it is.
No, it won't be after this week. Are you going to count them then?
You think South Carolina?
I get it. Y'all played a good schedule and everything, but come on.
Well, but then they'll be able to say they beat a top 15 team. South Carolina keeps moving up, so that win keeps looking better and better, doesn't it, Digger?
That's true. Oh, speaking of South Carolina, can I do the extensive please let me mention this about my University of Texas and my Horn Nation-y. I'm going to go Horn Nation-y on you guys. The women's soccer team has claimed their first SEC title, beating South Carolina, which was supposed to be a powerhouse. Holy cow. This was one that fell in our lap. Thank you very much. We'll take that trophy. So, yeah, one of many to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Digger.
Later.
All right. Gary's getting mad at me. He just texted me, Dad, and said that Mercer's 9-1. Come on, Gary. You give Mercer any chance this weekend? They ain't got no chance, do they? Like Gary didn't listen early in the show. They're not going to come in and get their players beat up because they're trying to get to the 1AA playoff. You don't give Mercer any chance in here, do you, Dad? Even though they are 9-1.
No. I think you have to have your team ready to play mentally, but you don't give them much chance. No.
Yeah, so I mean, we're doing the radio. The coaches aren't talking to the team like this, but we're telling you what's going to happen. Now, Kalen DeBoer's in there. It's like Nick Saban. He's making Mercer sound like South Carolina, I'm sure. So, whatever. I mean, that's what you do as a coach.
Well, back on that, when I got cut off or I cut myself off, I think the Texas-Arkansas game would be a better game than people. I don't think I'm not so sure that Texas won't blow them out.
Good. Line's 13.5 there. And Texas still flirt. They lose to Arkansas. They lose to Texas A&M. They'll be out of the playoff. So they'll go from 3 to out of the playoff.
I don't think they'll lose Texas A&M.
Well, they may not, but I'm just saying those are games that are losable. Arkansas knocked off Tennessee at home. And there is, just when I was coaching at Texas A&M, they were in the Southwest Conference. There is not a lot of love lost between Texas and Arkansas. I can tell you that for sure. All right, we'll take this last break. We'll come back and we'll wrap up the show. You listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. It is a jam-packed edition of the Gary Harris Show, the NASCAR report with Matt Coulter. As I do another victory lap, I picked Joey Logano to win it, and he won it. He is the series champion, and we'll talk about that. Also, we're going to have Kayla Anderson on with the Tennessee Titans report because she couldn't make it on Tuesday. And Larry the Music Man joins us as well, plus your phone calls. That's a jam-packed Wednesday Hump Day edition of the Gary Harris Show.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Found a few hot spots for your prime time rush on this Wednesday morning. If you're traveling on 359, both north and southbound, just before 2059, you got an accident blocking that left lane. Now, both the northbound left lane and southbound left turn lanes are blocked. Also, Northport, McFarland East and westbound near Fayette Highway. Watch out.
.com or Town Square Media Tuscaloosa radio websites. Fill out the Advertise Here form. Put the power of Town Square Media to work for your business.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Inside the locker, right back up to Yellowwood Hotline. We got about 3 minutes. Get Philip back in. Good morning, Philip.
Just remind Digger when he calls back, and he will. Just remind him that Texas played UTSA the third week of the season.
Say it again now.
Just remind Digger when he calls back that Texas played University of Texas San Antonio the third week of the season.
Yeah. I just think he was saying why you play them this late. But a lot of people, usually you put that game right before Auburn, so you could rest guys and not get them injured. But they I don't know if the SEC encouraged them to change, but nobody was watching that week of college football. They had too many of those games. I understand why you have to have them, but yeah, that's what they were talking about there. So Texas, their schedule's not very good.
He's always entertaining. I appreciate Digger calling, and I always listen when he calls. He is entertaining.
Yeah. Anyway, I do think that Arkansas game's going to be more difficult than people think.
Hey, they beat Tennessee.
Yeah, you go to Arkansas, crazy things. I don't say Arkansas is a great team, but that place will be jumping for Texas. I don't like the game time, though. I don't, I guess that's it's an 11 a.m. kick on ABC, and it's not a great week when I guess your primary game is Tennessee, Georgia there. And if Georgia knocks off Tennessee, the committee's going to have their hands full trying to figure out how to rank all these teams. I think Alabama, as we've said, and you said it, should be ahead of both of those when you go to strength of schedule and all that. Should go Alabama, Georgia, who was just knocked off Tennessee. The question is, how far up the rankings will they be when they do that? So, Philip, we appreciate you, my man. All right, I guess we're losing people today all over the place. All right, that's it. But the Gary Harris Show is next. We're going to get out of the way and make way for the Gary Harris Show. So keep it locked in. No Coach's Show is tonight. A little college basketball tonight. I know Auburn takes on Kent State. Troy goes out to Arkansas. And Gary, I was looking at that line if you want to make some money. 12.5. That's a little bit low to me. Maybe Arkansas's got some guys out or something. Yeah, that's Mark Pope's done a great job. He inherited nothing and put a team together like that. Mark Pope is not a good guy, a great guy. You pull for people like that in college athletics. Listen to Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great day, everybody.